And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here with our good buddy King.
How you doing, everybody?
So, finally, back to back, nice day, fall weather in the morning.
Yeah, we had one yesterday. We talked a little bit on the countdown, and today is just as nice, as beautiful. Walked outside this morning again. It was nice and crisp and beautiful. And then I looked at the forecast coming up for like the next 4 or 5 days, and it's just slowly creeping back up. And it's like, see, so it's coming back. And I'm not a fan of that. You've given me the taste now of the fall. You've given me that 64, 62 degree morning. I can't go back. I can't go back. Yeah. I can't go back now. Like, are you kidding me? Like, come on. Starbucks has got their pumpkin coming out tomorrow. Dunkin', I think, is later on in the week. They got their pumpkin coming out. Like, there's pumpkin's here. Apple is here. We got some chilly weathers here. You can't start popping it back up into the 80s and 90s on us. You can't do it.
Yeah. I'm just hoping Saturday is like lower 80s or 70s because me and the wife are going to the Eagles-Vikings preseason game.
Oh, are we now? Okay.
Yeah, the kid dropped out because, I can understand it. He's afraid of heights, and when we went to training camp, he had a hard time with where we were sitting, which is basically where we're going to sit for the preseason game. So,
boy, he would not do well at Old Yankee Stadium or
the Vet
or I'll tell you this, and I have been to some steep inclines on at a sporting venue. Barclays Center might be the worst.
Yeah.
As far as an incline?
Yeah.
On the upper deck there, like your head is where everybody else's feet are. And it's almost like a straight drop. I went there a couple of years ago with a buddy of mine. We went to go see an NXT event there, wrestling.
Okay.
And somebody fell. And they rolled a good 10 rows before somebody stopped them. Because it is literally straight down. Like it almost feels like you're climbing a mountain.
Holy
it
God.
Feels like a rock climbing wall. It's so vertical. So, like, I get it. Like, part of me understands why your kid's like that. Like, you just be looking at that. It's like, you know what? On second thought, no. I got the vertigo. I got the,
Yeah.
I'm not going to enjoy the game if I'm always just going to be sitting there, like, just holding on to everything for dear life. Like, well, I'm going to die. This is it. This is going to be the end of it. But yeah. So, God bless him. God bless him. I hope he does well. I hope he's doing well. But that's.
And he's also coming out with us for the Notre Dame game out in October, which I believe our seats are a little lower than where me and you sat for the outdoor game. So I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, no, that'll be fine. Because, listen, even the upper deck on MetLife isn't bad. Like, that's it. Yeah. The newer stadiums, depending on where you go, like, they're not nearly as bad or as steep as they used to be. Now, some places are because they want you to be closer to the action. And they want that kind of wall of sound. That's kind of what the new arena out there in L.A., in Inglewood, for the Clippers has. They have, like, I believe they actually just call it the wall, which is just this giant full section. It's got, like, 58 or 56 rows straight. And it's nearly straight up. And it's just all going to be super loud, and it's made for that reason. So it's literally made to be that steep. It's made to be this kind of thing. So like, some people like do that. I get it, but the MetLife upper deck isn't terrible. It's not like that. It's not like Barclays. It's not like anything like that. It's just everything else about MetLife that sucks. It's just a giant air conditioner gray slab of shit in the middle of the swamp. It's not. It's not great. Again, I wish the original Giants plan for it had gone through. But when the Jets West Side Stadium thing failed and they compromised and they were going to go halvesies and And the Jets wanted all glass, and the Giants wanted it to be kind of brick and steel work, and they compromised and decided to go with a giant piece of shit instead as a compromise. So, whatever. But other than that, all right. So you're going there. We were talking about maybe doing a live stream of the college game on Saturday. I guess we'll postpone that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was going to see. I might now just do it by myself. I might live stream the Giants and Jets preseason game to get one going like that, since you will be at the Eagles game. And listen, not to suggest anything, not to doing that, but Eagles fans, Eagles players, if you happen to be listening, I know you're not, but if you are, just happen to come across this. You're playing the Vikings, correct? Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Eagles, yes. Vikings. If you happen to work some of that Philly magic and take some of those Viking players out, Again, I'm not really worried about the Vikings at this point. But if you just, happen to work some of that Philly magic, maybe knock somebody out for a couple weeks. I'm not nothing big, like 2-3 weeks or something, like that. So they happen to miss week 1, week 2, something like that. Because, the Giants were playing in week 1. So, just a little extra added insurance.
So
I'm not telling you to Buddy Ryan anybody. I'm not telling you to purposely hurt anybody.
I was going to say, for years you yelled at me to stop asking for the Buddy Ryan rule. And now you're asking for the Buddy Ryan rule.
Listen, I would be a lot more confident. And listen, I want to preface this by saying this. I still believe in Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
But I am a little worried. Now again, do we look at it as I don't know how to look at it. See, okay. Here we go. All right. Now I got to get serious. Okay, hold on. Let me get serious here for a second.
Because I have my way to calm you down and bring you off the ledge a little bit, but
I'm fine. I'm not on any ledge. I'm not on no ledges. I'm not ledging anything. I'm not anything like that. I'm good.
Okay.
Do you look at, or as a Giants fan, as myself, this is me talking to me here. Do I see what happened on Saturday last week as rust being shaken off after not having played for basically a whole year, coming off an ACL injury, kind of just getting back on the field and kind of, whatever, shake it loose. I get it. And if you're going to do that, you'd want to do it in a preseason game anyway. And if we're being honest, to be fair, after the first couple drives, he looked better. Or do you look at it as my sister-in-law looks at it, as my father looked at it, as a lot of Giants fans out there looked at it, which was no matter what, no matter the injuries, no matter if you haven't played anything like that, you can't, even if it's preseason, you can't come out there and do what he did in the first couple series. You can't do it. I'm leaning towards, because I have to be glass half full. I have to. I don't have a choice. I don't have any other choice. I have to be optimistic. If I'm not optimistic, what's the point of even watching football this fucking year? I don't even know. What are we even doing? So I'm on the side of rust. It's rust. He shook off some rust. Had some of that stuff got used to. Because again, he had a nice run in there for a while. He had it was like a 15, 17-yard run, something like that. Looked good on the run with the repaired ACL and everything. Like I said, seemed to make some better decisions and good decisions. Going from the third series onwards. Looked fine. But that first series where he was like a 3-and-out and one ball he threw right into the gut of a Texan that should have been intercepted and wasn't. Yeah. Then he had the one where he was running for his life in the end zone, and instead of just throwing it out of bounds or doing something like that, he decided to. Again, you can't make that throw. You
Yeah.
can't make that throw. You can't make that throw. And I think that was the biggest mistake. Because even the one outside that he was going to, was it Hodgins or Hyatt? I can't remember which one. But again, he threw it up there. It was. I think the receivers got to fight for that ball a little bit. It was what it was. I'm not throwing that one completely on Dan. He threw it. It was in the spot. It was what it was. Like, again, I'm not upset about that one as much as I am about the pick six that he threw out of his own end zone. That one was bad. Like, you can't make that throw.
Yeah.
All of that being said, though, together, it's giving me pause. I've been touting that Danny Dimes train this whole time. I've been like, listen, I believe in Daniel Jones. I think if given enough time and given the right weapons and given just an offensive line that's not going to kill him, and like I said, an offensive line that can give him time, that we'll see the Daniel Jones of 2022. And I still think we can. I still think we'll see that. I still believe we'll see that. I still believe we'll see that. I do. I still believe we'll see that. I'm trying to convince myself. But for someone who is desperately trying to grasp onto some hope, that performance on Saturday was not great. And part of me worries about being made to look stupid because I was like, hey, let's go Daniel Jones. I believe in Daniel Jones. And then at the end of the day, it's going to be like, no, everybody else was right. You were wrong. He just sucks. I'm hoping like hell that I'm wrong.
Here's
hoping like hell.
Here's what I'll say. I'll put my 2 cents in about it. Overall, you can't put too much into the preseason of how he plays, and even like Jalen Hurts. Obviously, I've been following a lot of the Philly writers, and he hasn't thrown a interception in training camp at all up until today. And they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl." He went 305 passing attempts without a interception. It's preseason, okay. On the flip side of it, though, how much of last year and the year before, because he got beat up pretty good on the year before too with the bad offensive line. How much is that still in his head? Did he just say, "Oh shit," and just chuck it? I didn't see him.
That's part of what I was kind of saying, of maybe shaking the rust off, maybe kind of still having some of that muscle memory of, oh shit,
Yeah.
And like I said, as the game went on, he did start to look better and did seem to make better decisions. Now, I know some people are going to argue and say, well, the Texans took out their starters and he was playing against the backups and blah, blah, blah. And that's an argument that can be made in any preseason game, clearly.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not sure how much to read into that. Again, there's people reading into seeing Caleb Williams in the preseason and thinking he's going to be the MVP this year and win the Super Bowl because, he's made some good plays in the preseason. I don't think the Bears are making the playoffs, but sneak peek to the Friday forecast coming up there. I don't think the Bears are making the playoffs, but you can see where there's hope, and you can see where people will be like, "Oh wow, okay, there's something there." And we're going to talk about Nix in a second here, but like kind of the same thing with Denver. It's like, okay, like there's something. He still makes mistakes. He's still there, but there's something like there. You can see some of the fan bases have hope. It seems like here in the New York area, nobody wants hope.
Yeah.
No, everybody is just like they want. The only hope they have is that they hope Daniel Jones continues to suck because then they can like, all right, well, then next year we'll get our quarterback. But here's the thing, newsflash, everybody: there's no real great quarterbacks coming out of the draft next year. Like it's not, it's slim pickings as far as quarterbacks go. So you're going to end up just kind of doing the same thing and coming back here. Giants, let's say Daniel Jones absolutely sucks and we draft a new quarterback next year. We're going to be in the same boat. Like nothing's going to change by doing that, So, I'm probably going to have a new head coach and maybe general manager at that point. Like everything's going to be switched over, and then we're starting from the bottom all over again. So that's what I mean. I'm not hoping for that as much as all the other Giants fans seem to be hoping that Daniel Jones sucks. I'm hoping the opposite. I'm hoping that it's not all bad. I'm hoping it's not all terrible. I'm hoping that he shows what he showed 2 years ago. I'm hoping for that. So I still have hope. I still have belief. But, man, that is such a bad way to start. When you start off and the first pass you throw is right into a Texan's gut that should have been picked and wasn't. I was just sitting there watching that game, and I'm just like, let that be the worst mistake he makes all day. I was like, let that be the worst thing he does all day, and we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the worst thing he did all day. So, but
the only other thing I'll say about Danny Dimes too is he's in a lose-lose situation. No matter what he does, he could win you guys the Super Bowl this year. He'll still lose.
Because everybody will say it's Malik. Oh, well, he got bailed out by Malik Neighbors. Oh, it was this, it was that, it was the other thing. I agree with you on that. There's nothing he could do. He could be perfect. He could have 153.6% passer rating every game of the year. He could throw no interceptions all year. He could have 56 touchdowns out of the year, and everybody would be like, no, well, I mean, it was clearly they must have changed the system or something, and Malik Neighbors helped him a lot. There's no, there. I agree with you. There's nothing he could do with some fans' eyes that will change how they feel about him or that whether he's good or not. Like that. So, but I don't worry about that. Like I don't care about that. I worry because again, I remember when I was a real little kid, Phil Simms was my Giants quarterback growing up. And Phil Simms, early on in his career, he was booed and hated for being drafted by the Giants where he was. Sounds familiar. He had a difficult first 4 or 5 years playing for the Giants. Sounds familiar. Was booed, constantly booed. Was cheered when they replaced him or benched him. Sounds kind of familiar. So the Giants kind of almost have it reminds you a little bit of Eli. Everybody was shitting on Eli forever. He sucks. He sucks. He's not like his brother. He's terrible. Look at I wish we had Peyton instead of him. He's terrible. Oh, well, terrible guy. And then he won you 2 Super Bowls against the New England Patriots in some of the most fantastic runs in playoff history, including maybe one of the best games ever, that 2011 NFC Championship game where the 49ers beat the piss out of him. Yeah. And he just kept on getting up and kept on playing and kept on performing and willed us himself to get to the Super Bowl. And now you talk to Giants fans and it's like, oh, Eli Manning, I love him. He's a legend. Giants legend. He's so great. Oh, first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely. And some of those people were the same people who were shitting on him. And I bet you there's some 60 or 70-year-old Giant fans out there who say the same thing about Eli, who talk about how Phil Simms, Giants legend, retired, number 11, Phil Simms. I love Phil Simms, who in 1982 were booing the shit out of that guy. Yeah. I guarantee it. So, how the fans feel about Daniel Jones doesn't concern me. Like, I'm not worried about that. If he all I'm concerned about is, can he perform well? Can he kind of not so much, and listen, he's like we talked about, he's not going to change a lot of people's minds. Yeah. But if he can get people to just shut up for a second and not blame him, that's the other thing too. If he plays well and the Giants still lose, part of me feels like some people will blame him anyway. But that's the only thing. I want him to play well for himself. I want him to play well. I don't want him to screw up. I want him to be able to, and he's not going to do it. He's not that kind of guy, but I want him to be able to just be like, fuck you, shut up. Look, I told you I could do this. I told you it wasn't my fault, And that's what part of me is hoping for that. But then there's the other part of me that is scared shitless that he's going to continually like fumble the ball or throw 6 picks or do stuff like that, and it's just going to be like, all right, well, it is what it is, and at that point, like, you can't fight it anymore. Like, you can't, he'll be what it is. So
Yeah.
like I said, I was hoping coming into this show from this past week's preseason game to be like, hey, all right, feeling good. Daniel Jones looking all right, looking solid. I didn't need anything big or spectacular, but I needed to be looking good, looking solid. I will say this. Fucking Malik Neighbors is a fucking talent. That sideline catch was beautiful.
As an Eagles fan, I gotta give a shout out to a Giants player, and
yes,
you know who I'm going.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
First off, I like plays from fat guys, which is defensive lineman.
First of all,
D tackle.
First of all, how dare you call that man fat?
Oh,
he may be big.
Call him fat to his face.
He may be thick, but he ain't fat. I don't think there's not a lot of fat on that dude.
After watching that play, I'm not going to call him anything.
You don't get to move that fast if you're fat. No, that brother is muscle and muscle and momentum. That's what he is. He's got mass, muscle, and momentum. He's got the 3 M's. Elijah, what was his last name? Cartwright. I don't know why I don't remember his name now.
Yeah, and in case like you guys didn't see
I
the
thought you would have
video,
had that up there. Let me see. Elijah.
He basically ran down a running back who had all green in front of him. After
Chapman, Elijah Chapman.
There we go. Yeah,
and he ran about like a 4.6.
Yeah,
catching back up with my man there. Rookie, he's an undrafted rookie. I bet you everybody right now, Giant fan and no, I've seen also on social media, is like, that. I hope that guy makes the team.
Yeah.
Because what an effort. Hell of a job. And just, like, I watched that, and you see everybody was posting the clips too, and it's just like, that might have been the highlight of the game. And listen, we need that. We need that effort, because you know what? Having people on there with that effort, having that, whether he's ever going to be a starter or whether he makes the team or not, I certainly hope he does. No matter what it is, having people on your team that put that effort makes everybody else around you better, because it says, I have to make that effort too. I have to do at least as much as that guy's doing. I have to put it. He put in 110%, ran down that guy, and then got up and ran back to the line and played the next play. Like, that's what I mean. Yeah. Is like, so 1,000%. One of the best clips of preseason, and I certainly hope the guy makes the team, and certainly hope he makes the impact. The Giants, and here's the other thing too, like the Giants defense doesn't look bad.
No.
So like, I think the Giants defense can be good. I think there's there's everybody wants to be so negative. I think there's a lot of positives to look at here. There's people talking about the Giants are going to be the worst team in the division. Giants are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Giants are going to be terrible. Giants are going to win 4 games. I saw Tom Grossi put on his thing. It's like, I see the Giants anywhere between 4 and 8 wins. He has the Giants. They're going to be last. He has Washington above the Giants. Everybody's going to be better than the Giants. Giants are terrible. Giants are going to be the worst team in the NFC. I don't see that in a conference where you have, first of all, Carolina, New Orleans, Arizona, even with Marvin Harrison Jr., Arizona ain't great.
No.
And again, can the Giants be the worst team in the NFC? Sure, but I think anybody can be. And I don't know. Maybe it's me and my blue-colored glasses. I don't know, but I just don't. I don't see the Giants being as terrible as everybody says we're going to be here, saying that we're going to be one of the worst teams. We're just so awful. We're just so bad. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that we have Daniel Jones as our quarterback. And so everybody's like, oh, well, you have Daniel Jones as your quarterback. You're going to be shit. You're going to be terrible. You're going to be awful. I, which is weird for me, but I happen to side on the optimistic side here. Which is something I don't ever do in life, usually. But I'm usually Captain Pessimism and super skeptic. But I feel the Giants are going to be an okay team this year.
And they probably put some good, like, entertaining games. They'll probably put some entertaining games on, I think.
I think so. Listen, I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying any of that. I think we're going to be closer to the playoffs than anybody thinks we're going to be. I think we'll be in a hunt for a while. I think we're probably hovering around that 500 mark, but I think that's where we're staying. I think we're around the 500 team. I don't think we're worse than that. I honestly don't. And call me stupid, everybody, and call me, oh, you don't know ball. Oh, you're a casual. Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, fine. I don't care. Insult me, yell at me, call me everything you want. I don't care. It just doesn't feel like that. And maybe that's the preseason optimism. Maybe that's just, the preseason, potpourri, that everything smells great right here, right now. Everything's 0-0. Even though Daniel Jones, again, didn't have a great outing for the preseason, I still kind of have that belief in him. I think, I love our running back situation. I love Singletary. I love Gray. Those two guys back there, I think, are fantastic. Again, I think our offensive line has massively improved, and John Runyon Jr. didn't even play for us last game against the Texans. But I think our offensive line has improved massively over last year. Now, that's not to say that we have a great offensive line, but again, it's still a massive improvement from what we were. Then having a tackling dummy sled out there would have been better than what we had last year. So. That's what I mean by that. I do think our offensive line is better. I like our running game. I think our defense is solid. I think we have pieces there that can compete and play and win some games and maybe steal some games. And again, I'm not saying we're going to go undefeated. I'm not even saying we're going to make the playoffs. What I'm saying is I think we're going to be a lot better. And I feel terrible that I've made the first half of this show my defense for Daniel Jones' poor play and what a lot of people would consider New York Giants front office ineptitude or whatever like that, and again, that's fine, whatever. But that's just how I feel. That's how I look at it. I'm going to look at this as positively as I can until the Giants inevitably break my heart and make it impossible to watch football this year.
So
if that happens, I'm hoping it doesn't. But if that happens, I'm gonna be like Bart Simpson sitting in Camp Krusty. Just Krusty is coming. Krusty is coming. Krusty is coming. Krusty is coming. I'm gonna hold on to that hope for as long as I can. And so to quote the great Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
So everybody, week 4, he'll be done watching football.
Shut the fuck up.
So moving on to another quarterback, news came out today. Bo Nix is the starting quarterback for Denver.
You got to believe. Everybody's been using that old thing from WWE with old Bo Dallas there. Oh, dude, could you imagine if Bo Nix was drafted by the Cowboys? You could have Bo Dallas, Bo. It would have been. Oh, the wrestling fans would have lost their mind. It would have been great. I want to see. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on having Bo Nix again? You're starting a rookie in Denver with Sean Payton, who is supposedly a quarterback guy, but so much so that he
couldn't fix Russell.
Fucking threw Russell Wilson out. He was like, "Get the fuck out of town."
He pulled an Uncle Phil throwing jazz out the door.
He was just get out. So rookie, what you've seen from him so far in the preseason, highlights, everything else like that. If you've watched any of the games, what you've seen, and what do you think overall? And especially considering the quarterbacks that they have there, do you like this? Do you think it's a good decision to throw somebody else out there like that? And just overall feelings. Bo Nix, starting quarterback, Denver Broncos.
So I'm a firm believer that no rookie quarterback should start, no matter how good you are. And this goes back to when McNabb was a rookie. Now, 2000, I was 28 or so. So, I mean, I was old enough to know what's going on, but still naive. And I liked McNabb coming out of Syracuse. I was not one of the Philly fans that booed him. Um, and it was smart to sit him for those first, I believe, 5 games or whatever. Doug Peterson was the starting quarterback at that time. Because going from college to NFL, we've heard the analysis all the time say it's a different speed. It's a totally different game. And I think by them sitting on the sideline, at least for half a year or whatever, is beneficial to them. Because also on the same aspect of it is, okay, Bo Nix is going in right now. Say the offensive line is just garbage, and he gets lit up week after week for the first 3-4 weeks. He looks like garbage. You can't go back. You can't bench him because it'll mess with his psyche, but also by him getting killed is going to mess with his psyche. So I don't like this move. I mean, no matter how good Sean Payton is, once a quarterback is broken, you see with Russell Wilson, it's hard to get them to come back to the form that you think they could get. So and the other thing too is Denver's not like, we're going to win it this year, we got to put the best player in there. Like, they're in a rebuild mode. So like, what's the rush to get this kid in there? So like that's my 2 points of why I don't like this move.
Well, that's it. Denver's got $86 million tied up in the cap for the next couple of years because of the Russell Wilson thing.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to get a lot of different pieces. So like, you can't even be in a rebuilding mode because you don't have the funds or the resources to build anything. But also, on the other hand, like, you can't just sit them. And like, what are you going to do? You're going to sit him until you can get pieces around there and do that in 2 years? Like, I don't think that's a good way to go about it either. And again, I think it depends. Now, see, Bo Nix is older than your typical rookie quarterback. He's been in college for fucking ever. Where I think he played 6 years. He played at Auburn. He played at Oregon, whatever. Nevada. So like, he has big time football experience. He has big game experience. He has plenty of time and, again, experience just in general there. I don't mind it, and especially, like, listen, let's face facts. If we've watched any of the Broncos games, I've watched a little bit of it. He's by far been the best quarterback that Denver has. You know, Stidham is a good backup. Zach Wilson is a warm body that he uses to, keep those Rocky Mountain MILFs nice and warm during the season. So good for him. I honestly think, and I think a lot of people thought Bo Nix was going to be the only choice anyway, going into this, whether or not what he showed during the preseason. But he has shown flashes of being really good.
Yeah.
And making right decisions and having good quarterback play. And I think that is the ultimate deciding factor for anybody. Because, again, the NFL is, you have to win. You don't get to just sit around and not win and get told, oh, we'll be patient. Oh, you have time. Don't worry about it. That's never. In the history of the NFL, especially nowadays, it's never.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Whether you're Sean Payton, whether it doesn't matter who you are. Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. He got fired. Because 3 years after Tom Brady left, they were bad.
Yeah.
They made no progress. Sorry. Oh, you won 6 Super Bowls here? You've done great, amazing things for us. We have 8 AFC championship games or 10 AFC championship games, whatever the hell it is. Doesn't matter. You haven't won in 3 years. Bye. See you later. So, if I'm Sean Payton, I'm going to put in who I think gives me the best chance to win. And I think Bo Nix is that guy. I think for other... Now, see, here's what I'll say about this. I think Washington starting Jaden Daniels might be a mistake.
Do you know who their backups are? Is Sam Howell
For
still there?
Washington, I will let you know.
Because while you look that up, that's what I was thinking was when they said about him starting, like how I just said about my feelings about rookie starting. I was trying to think who's their other quarterback. So maybe they had no.
Oh, okay. Currently, right now, their depth chart is Jaden Daniels has been listed as their starter, which we know. Right now, as their backup is Marcus Mariota. Oof, yeah. Their third string is Jeff Driscoll.
Okay.
And their fourth, right now, who is currently on the injury report, is Notre Dame heartthrob Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
So, but even with that, granted, I know it's Marcus Mariota. I get it.
I would start Sam Hartman over Mariota.
But, well, Hartman's a rookie too, so.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the future.
But you don't know that. You don't know that. Plus, that guy's got a flow, man.
Man,
Dude, that dude's got such a
known.
flow. Like, it's like, if he doesn't make it as a quarterback, he could be like, what's his face? The backup for the Giants, who used to be, he was like on The Bachelor and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Palmer.
Yeah, Jesse Palmer. There you
Jesse
go.
Palmer, there you go.
He can go right be a model. You know, he's got that. He's got that. He's got that good lookingness to him. But like with something like that, I think that applies maybe more to Jaden Daniels. What you were saying about how maybe don't start a rookie immediately, let him get used to NFL speed. And we've said this. I've said this a lot too about let some of these young guys come in, sit on the bench for a while. Get to speed, get an understanding of what things are. As we've seen, Green Bay has done that the last 2 times they've gotten a quarterback, and boy, has it fucking worked out for them. They've had such a seamless transition between Favre and Rodgers, and now Rodgers and seemingly Love. I'm not going to put Love in the Hall of Fame right now yet, but Rodgers is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Brett Favre, clearly, we know who he is, and I mean, what he is for, allegedly. But I and you've seen what Atlanta used that as their reasoning for getting Penix while having gone out and gotten Kirk Cousins, and there was the whole big thing about that. Why would you do that? And all the other things like that. That was their excuse of saying, well, works for the fucking Packers, so that's what we're going to try to do. But again, Penix is a lot like Bo Nix in that he's older than your average rookie quarterback. He's got a lot of experience. He's been injured a lot too, so let's not forget that. But, he seems like somebody that could have been more of a start now rookie quarterback. I think you have to look at it from each perspective. For Denver, I think starting Bo Nix is the right decision.
Okay.
I do. Much like Chicago starting Caleb Williams. With all the tools and weapons you've put around him, even if he makes a mistake, people are going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Not just to him, but to Eberflus too, to the coaching staff. And I think that's also the thing too. And what he's shown so far is it seems like the right decision. To let him go, see what he does. Sure, there'll be growing pains. Yes, he's going to have to figure out full speed NFL defenses once the preseason's over, and that might get ugly.
Yeah,
but at some point you got to take the training wheels off, and you got to do it. And also, Chicago doesn't have anybody else. Again, I think it might be the wrong decision for Washington. But again, they don't really have anybody else other than Marcus Mariota. And as somebody who's an Eagles fan, you have a little bit more insight on Marcus Mariota than most anybody else. So, I get it. And that leaves only. I think there's only 2 quarterback situations that are still yet to be decided. I think New England, which is between Jacoby Brissett and Drake May, and Why can't I remember who else?
JJ's out. JJ McCarthy was
Yeah, no. Sam Darnold was announced as the starter. We know that.
Yeah.
So, but I was trying to remember who's the other quarterback situation that was yet to be found out. Let me see. Steelers. That was it.
Okay.
But the Steelers haven't picked a starter because they don't have one.
Yeah, they both suck.
I mean, boy, oh boy. Like, you got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and neither one of them are worth a goddamn.
Yeah.
And I know somebody's going to look at me, well, you have Daniel Jones. All right, yeah, but you have Russell Wilson. So, which, again, I think that's a huge factor, which we talked a little bit about yesterday in the Brandon Ayuk stuff. I think, and it's rare that I will agree with Mike Florio because he's mostly terrible and has wrong takes and is dumb as shit. But I agree with him on this. I think that by Labor Day, you're going to see Ayuk get a deal done with the 49ers because he might have been all about Steelers. Oh, yeah, Pittsburgh, or might have, I don't even know why. Maybe he has a childhood affinity for the Steelers. I don't know why he was so big on the Steelers. But after watching the first couple of preseason games, man, I'll sign that deal. Listen, you can take a couple dollars off. I'll sign that deal in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I got to stop punching my mic. It's not a great situation out there. And for New England, I think New England is a great spot where you start Jacoby Brissett because Jacoby Brissett is actually a pretty decent quarterback.
Yeah.
And he can play well, and he can do very well in the start here while Drake May sits on the sidelines, gets used to seeing NFL speed, listen to the coaching, watch these different films, watch game day films, see how these defenses work, see how the offense works, get used to all of that situation. I think that might be a better overall spot where you start Brissett, and then either at some point later on in the year or even next year you bring in Drake May then as your starter and see what he can do. But like the other thing is too, like when you have certain owners and you have fans and everything like that, you didn't draft these guys to sit on the bench.
No.
And I think that's always going to be a big thing is people feel like, well, you drafted them, put them out there. You drafted them, put them out there. You drafted them, put them out there. And it seems only like with quarterbacks that people feel like that. If you're a rookie wide receiver, you better catch some fucking balls. If you're a rookie, defensive end or edge rusher or tackle, you better get your ass to that quarterback. You want to see some turnovers. I want to see interceptions. I want to see tackles for losses. You better get out there. I don't care if you're a rookie or not. This is what I want to see. It seems like when you get the quarterback, though, we're always talking about, I don't know, maybe go pause, give him some time, let him see how he does. Granted, there's a lot more that goes with being a quarterback. I think some people would argue as far as being
they're
the
more
field
fragile
general and as far as knowing all the plays, reading a defense, looking at the calling audibles at the line, seeing who's the mic, who's blitzing, who's not, what are your matchups, who's the hot route, all those things that go into it. And it's a lot. Like nobody's ever saying that quarterback's going to be an easy position to play. But I think that's, people don't look at it that way. People look at it as, well, you drafted him, start him. You drafted him, put him in there. You didn't draft him to just sit him on the bench, put him out there. I think it's a better idea for most of these young guys, for quarterbacks, to let them marinate a little bit. But for someone like Bo Nix, I think it actually might be better for him to get out there. Because, again, I think he's older and he has a little bit more experience. I think for some of these guys, it might be better. And, again, for Caleb Williams, I think it's a case of you've been hyped so much as the savior, we have to put you out there.
Yeah.
And he hasn't shown anything different. Now, again, that can all change in the regular season. But, boy, if that doesn't pan out, that's going to be something. That's going to be something big. That's going to be something big. I'm looking around to see what else is going on. I still see some more media members are shitting on Daniel Jones, which is great. Because apparently they talked to Sauce Gardner after the Jets scrimmage, shared practice camp day with the Giants. and he didn't say much about Daniel Jones or having to practice against Daniel Jones. So everybody's like, "Oh, he didn't have to say much," and I guess if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And it's like, really, like,
What are we, 9?
shut the fuck up, Ari. And I finally saw a couple other people like finally come out and say like, how, like, you got to stop. Yeah, listen, give the guy a chance to suck.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming off an injury. He's doing all this kind of stuff. Give him a chance to suck this year. And then listen, if by week 3 he's got like 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles, and the Giants are that awful, then fucking rip him. You have my absolute permission. Go ahead, rip him the shit. I don't care. But like, allow him the opportunity to suck.
Yeah.
Like, and again, because he played so well in 2022 that he earned himself a new contract. On a contract year, because the Giants didn't renew him. They said, we're not giving you the 5th-year option. He played well enough to earn himself a contract. People shit on him for that. Then he plays last year in front of a non-existent offensive line and gets murdered, and people want to sit there and say, oh, well, he sucks. No. Give him an opportunity to suck. Where he's not getting actively murdered, where he's not having all these other fucking issues around him. Give her an opportunity to suck, and then if he does suck, go nuts. Fine. But, like, I don't know. I got to stop going back to the Daniel Jones. It's fucking bothering me.
So let me ask you about this too. This came out yesterday or day before with the Sunday Ticket. All the new features they're going to put in there with YouTube and YouTube TV.
I saw that, and if you're someone who does get the Sunday Ticket, I think that is. First of all, you're rich, so go fuck yourself. But second of all, that's a great feature. And I think something that people have been wanting to do for a while, where you can pick your quad box how you want to do it. Because apparently last year, like, they had quad boxes and they had unique ones where you could do it, but they had like a whole bunch of them, and you had to search for them, and you had to look if they had ones that you wanted, and sometimes they didn't have 2 of the games on the same one that you wanted, so it was just a real pain in the ass. Whereas this one now, you can pick and choose which ones you want on your quad box to look at, which is great, which is fine. That's that's wonderful. So, that's not what people asked for.
What's the difference between that and, I mean, obviously I know what the red zone is, but the red zone, I mean, that's all really the red zone is doing, is just going game to game to game.
No, red zone is because you're watching the red zone. They do that, and then they'll switch right over to the game. Having the quad box is you have 4 games on at the same time.
Oh, okay. So there's a limit of how many games you could put in. So you only could do 4 games at once.
You could do up to 4 games on your screen.
Okay. Because that's what I was trying to understand. Like, what's to stop somebody to have all 15, 16 games or whatever to watch them and instead
because they would be so small you wouldn't be able to watch them.
Well, maybe you have it like this.
It's all on one screen. So like listen, I prefer red zone anyway. Like, I understand, like, some people might like the quad box. Maybe if you're at a bar that has a giant screen and you can do that. Or, if you're at home and happen to have, like, an 86-inch television and you want to do that, fine, go nuts. But I like red zone personally. Like, if I'm just watching a game there for that, like, that's fine. That's cool. But, again, cool feature, cool new thing. They did that. Not what people were asking for. It's nice. It's a cool feature that should be there anyway, but that's not what people are asking for. People are fine with that, but people also want just the ability to have the a la carte NFL, which is let me pay for my out-of-market team that I want. And that's the only one I want. I don't care about anybody else. I'm not going to watch anything else. I don't want to watch Red Zone or anything like that. I want to watch my team.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you still have to pay the $600 or whatever the fuck it is. I think Apple TV is for like $6 something. It might be $400 or $500 on regular. Like, I don't know. I forget what but anywhere between like $450 or $500 and $600, something like that for Sunday Ticket. It's a lot.
No, it is.
It's a lot, and see, for me, like, being here in the New York area, like, I can watch my teams and be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need it. You being where you are, you're going to see Eagles games.
Yeah.
You have the Eagles games and I think the Steelers games on CBS. So
Yeah.
you can see that. But that's the thing. When I lived up there, I couldn't watch the Giants. I would have to go to the bar to watch the Giants.
Yeah.
Or I could get Sunday ticket for $450, which I couldn't because I'm poor as shit. Which, by the way, donation stations over there. You can go to our merch store. Links are down below as well here on YouTube. You can help us out here. We definitely need it. Zoom is not cheap, and this is how we kind of do this stuff because we're in two completely different places. So just to let you know, if you want to go ahead and do some donation station stuff to help us, that'd be great. Right about now would be really great. Like, share, and subscribe, by the way. Thank you very much. I would like to see the NFL go more towards the a la carte situation. I don't think they will.
You think they're waiting to see how the
Well, it already got overturned. So that got overturned. So
the appeal got overturned?
yes. Well, no, they granted the NFL's appeal.
Oh, okay.
So that whatever is going to be like $14.9 billion settlement was thrown out.
Okay.
So yeah, because the jury apparently was way off base, and the judges saw all that, and part of that was, and I think that was the problem too of having that happen, having the jury trying to send a message ruined what the case was, because then it made it easily throw-outable. It made it easily appealable, to where it was just like, it was clearly there was some kind of vendetta there from the jury itself, where, if they could have been more fair about it, then it comes across better. And now because of that, because the NFL kind of won that lawsuit, as it were, there's no incentive for them to try to change anything else, or either lower prices or do a la carte or do anything like that. And for the time being, you're either going to have to, fork up the money, or try to do another legal site. Although apparently they shut down Stream East, so all of us who relied on the illegal streams there gonna have a
so
problem.
the next day they came out and said no, they didn't get shut down.
No, Stream East came down and said, "Oh, well, we're going to be back and we're going to do all this stuff." And they might be. They might have other sites, and you'll see them. But usually, once they start harping on a site, like the same thing happened to Pirate Bay. Same thing happened to what was that? Badass Torrents. There was a lot of them back in the day that were easily available. You go to, and then they would get shut down. And they'd pop back up somewhere else with a different domain name or something like that, but it'd be the same thing. And then they get shut down again to the point where it became impossible for them to come back up. So once and then you could try to go and find other ones, but it's hard. Once they kind of target you and see, get their sights set on you, it's kind of hard to keep that going. So hopefully they do. Not that I'm not saying that I do or do not illegally stream NFL content or anything else from any other things, but it's going to make it kind of a little more difficult to watch the games and do the streams this year. Just saying. That was kind of our ace in the hole there.
Yeah.
Not saying that's something that we were or were not going to do. I'm not saying that that's something that we do, and I'm not saying that's something we were planning to do. But I'm just saying the shutdown of Stream East might make the live streaming a little harder than usual. Just saying. Yeah. Anyway, and I think that might have been too where the NFL kind of, them and the Justice Department or whoever's behind it, they won that case, they won the appeal, and were like, oh, everybody was talking about they're going to go and jump on Stream East. They're just going to watch our games on Stream East. Well, joke's on them. I'm Roger Goodell. I got billions of dollars. I'm going to tell the Justice Department to do my bidding. And sure enough, they are. So,
money talks.
That's a different subject for a different show.
Yeah.
But
that should be like a Patreon show for us. Pay to hear us talk about.
No. I don't want anything. No, because once that's
that door's
always
open, there's
bad.
no
Once when
closing it.
people start talking about like stuff outside of sports, it devolves and gets terrible. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not getting political. The show will never be political. The show will never be. And the problem is now everything's political, so you can't really say too much. So that's why I just, I shut up and dribble. I shut up and just talk about sports, and that's what I'm going to do. And if you want to hate me for my sports takes, if you want to hate me because I believe in Daniel Jones, that's fine. You can hate me all you want, but that's this is my baseline. This is where I'm staying. Don't ask for anything else. Don't ask about nothing. The only thing I can't wait for is two things I can't wait for. I can't wait for football season to start, which we're almost there, and I can't wait for the election to be over so I can stop seeing the fucking ads on television. Those are the two things I want. I want more football and less fucking political ads. The only two things. Did you know that my opponent likes to eat children? I don't eat children. Vote for me, the non-baby eater. This message was brought to you by Not Baby Eating. It's the worst.
Going back to Bo Dallas, did you watch Raw this past week?
I did not. Again, I don't have cable. I don't have access to really watch.
I didn't know if you maybe saw clips on Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
No, the only thing I saw was McAfee's goodbye. That was it.
Yeah, he almost had me teared up because I didn't stay up to see that.
That was cool for
him. But Bo Dallas, obviously they came into after Chad Gable and that crew, and I know it's dark, so the light was hitting Bo Dallas the right way, but he's fucking ripped. He has Hulk Hogan arms. Like I just thought he would be like I don't want to say chubby, but like not.
Well, he used to be. He was never like fit.
Yeah.
He had a bit of the chunk up on him, which is fine.
Yeah.
The rotundas were like back when Bray was still, he was Husky Harris to start off there in WWE, and that's it. He was a bigger, and he was always kind of bigger.
Yeah.
And Bo was, he was smaller, and some would say skinnier, but he was never like ripped. Like he was muscular, but he wasn't ripped.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that. But he's bulked up here for the Uncle Howdy stuff.
It looks like it, man. Because like I said, his arms, there was muscles on muscles.
What?
And supposedly next Monday it'll be his first time in ring against Chad Gable. So I might have to stay up to watch that.
Yeah, I might have to find an illegal stream somewhere. Not that that's something we do or condone or whatever probably do. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I were to watch it, and since I don't have cable, someone like me or in my position might have to go ahead and use a stream that is not strictly by all, counts of the law, legal as it would be in the United States, whether in the lower 48 or Alaska and Hawaii, maybe some Canadian provinces as well. I'm not exactly sure. But it's something. There was something else I wanted to talk about too, and now I can't remember. You had brought it up, and it was since we just got done with the Olympics. We just they literally just ended like a week ago, and so people are already looking forward to 2028. First of all, breakdancing is not going to be in the next one, which is just terrible because I wanted to see a return of B-Girl Raygun.
She could set it up to make it again.
So fantastic! She should be back anyway. She should have been the flag. Maybe for 2028, she can come back and be the flag bearer for Australia because she has represented them so well, and she's become the biggest international star from Australia since maybe Paul Hogan, and Crocodile Dundee there. So, congratulations to her on that. But one of the sports that will be at the 2028 Olympics in beautiful sunny Los Angeles is flag football. This is what the NFL is going to be in a couple of years. And I saw it in a couple different places. I saw it on Pat McAfee, which is why I thought you got it, but you said you had seen it somewhere else as well. So I was like, we got to stop stealing Pat McAfee stuff. And it was like, I saw it somewhere else, jerk off. Oh, sorry, Jimbo. Sorry. But a lot of the flag football players saying it would be insulting if the USA flag football team uses NFL players instead of the traditional flag football players. Your thoughts on that kind of mindset, and I'll save mine for a little later. But do you think that there will be NFL players in the flag football competition at the Olympics? And do you think there should be, or do you side with the everyday flag football players?
So I think, first off, in India, I don't think you're going to see NFL players because it's going to be happening pretty much in the middle of training camp. So that's that, that part of it. But I do see the flag football players side of it. Of, hey, we were here from the get-go. This should be ours. We should be the ones playing. And I would probably rather see them be the ones to kick this off. You look at NHL when it's the Winter Olympics. We don't have the NHL players going over. I don't think this past time they went over. So I like seeing the quote unquote amateurs doing the Olympics and not the pros. Now on the flip side of it, the quarterback of this flag football, he needs to shut his mouth up because I just saw the video right before we got started to record. He was talking about it, and he said he feels he is better than Patrick Mahomes at flag football because he has a better IQ of the game. Dude, shut the fuck up. IQ of flag football and IQ of regular football. Football's football. Patrick Mahomes. If someone said, who would you rather, Patrick Mahomes or Joe Schmo of flag football? I'm taking Patrick Mahomes for flag football. So that's the only part that I got a little agitated with that guy. But I'd much rather see the amateurs play it, be in there.
I'll say this. Normally, I would be like, let our flag football players play the flag football game and go up against the other nations. I normally would have said that. I probably would have said that 2-3 weeks ago. But I saw what happened to our 3-on-3 basketball team in the Olympics, where we were bounced before even we were out of the group stage.
Yeah.
Because they said you can't have NBA players. It has to be somebody who plays the 3-on-3, whatever. I appreciate his sentiment, but this is a game that the United States cannot lose.
Yeah.
Not the United States has to win flag football, and we have to win it like the Dream Team in '92 beat Lithuania. Like we have to. We have to stomp on necks. We have to we have to win by 70 every game. And just we got to swing dick.
Yeah.
And considering what happened with the 3-on-3 basketball team, when 2028 comes and it comes to flag football, sorry guys, I'm not taking any chances. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors. Hopefully by that time he'll be a little bit, more established.
Yeah.
Shit, Aaron Rodgers might be retired at that point, so he can become a flag football player. Put Aaron Rodgers out there as our quarterback, let's fucking go.
But if this keeps going this way, of they shouldn't be in there, we're gonna try to be in there. Do like a charity event, flag football game. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, whatever team A is going to be going up against flag football team B, and whoever wins, they're the ones that go.
You know what? All of a sudden, we can make the Pro Bowl games worth something.
There you go.
You get the Pro Bowl games, you get the flag football games. Whatever conference wins the Pro Bowl games, they're the ones that get to go to the Olympics and represent the U.S. at the Olympics. That Pro Bowl team in flag football.
We got to have Eli as head coach, though. Poor Peyton.
That's got to happen. That's so. I think all of a sudden now it's starting to work. Well, you can't be in there unless you played flag football. Hey, these guys just played it last February. These guys, they're pretty good. They're flag footballs. They're official flag footballers. We can get them in there. We can do it. And hey, listen, it'll be the Summer Olympics, so you can be like, hey, listen, guys, you can go play flag football. You can go win us a couple medals, and guess what? You get to stay out of training camp for a little bit. So you get like that. It's like that'll be your training camp. That'd be great. They get to go to the Olympics. They get to bang a bunch of athletes in the Olympic Village. They get to go win a couple gold medals. That's a good time. Everybody wins. Everybody's winning. I'm just saying.
Actually have the superstars showing up, like say Kansas City and Phillies in the Super Bowl. You'll have Patrick Mahomes show up. You'll have Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown.
Yeah, they will show up to there to go. Absolutely, that's what I mean. They'll play in those Pro Bowl games. Absolutely. See, listen, I'm not saying I'm a marketing genius. I'm just saying I should be employed by the NFL. That's all I'm saying. I think I should at least get an interview. At least just a courtesy phone call.
Yeah.
Because I got some good thoughts in the noodle. That's what I'm saying.
We've been saying this for a few years. Maybe they keep down the wrong number. Instead of the 8, they're hitting a 9 or something. Miscalling you.
I don't know. I keep on getting. I made a price quote reference to like a sign company. I was looking to see it like. You know how they do like those LED neon signs now? So I put in a price quote to see like what would it cost to get like a cool looking like Stay Tuned Sports sign with the neon stuff. Too much was the answer to that question. But now they won't stop calling me. And it's like, we have this price quote ready for you. I was like, I know you have the price quote. I saw the price quote. I want nothing to do with it. I'm fine with my blank seafoam kitchen wall here. That'll do for now. But listen, NFL, if you guys do want to call, that'd be great. And I'm just saying, I got some great ideas. Hey, NHL, phone's open. I can work some magic for you too, because you guys need it. You guys definitely need some marketing help. I'm just saying like that too. So, anything else going on here, Jimbo?
I mean, other than the two Brian Flores.
Oh my God, the two Brian Flores stuff. How did I forget about that? Yeah,
he coached me too hard type thing.
No, that's not what was said. There's coaching too hard, and then there's somebody coming up to you every day saying like, "You fucking suck. I wish we had anybody else other than you. You're fucking awful." And it's like, that's not great. That's not great. And Brian Flores didn't deny it either. That's the other thing too. He came out and said, hopefully we all try to learn and grow from how we were, and I'm sure I could have did better. And said, yeah, no, you could have done better than telling your starting quarterback you fucking suck and I hate you. Like you could have done a little better than that, Brian.
And see, like that was the thing though. Like when I first saw the video, like I didn't hear the video. I just saw the caption of Tua said had a hard time with Brian Flores as a coach, his coaching style, blah blah blah. And I'm like, there's coaches out there that coach hard like that without knowing what was actually said,
right?
And when I heard the video, actually watch it and everything, I'm like, oh, you're a dick. And I think I saw today, supposedly he would text Tua the night before the game, don't blow it. Like,
yeah, like that's what I mean.
Who does that?
And this goes back to my point too about Florio kind of being a dick and why I don't like Florio is that today on his fucking show with the ever incredible Chris Sims,
your favorite buddy,
they're both sitting there trying to fucking cover up for Flores and being like, oh, sometimes, it was really, what a brave thing for Brian Flores to come out, and he really faced on with this thing. He didn't even try to make an excuse about it. He came and faced, he came and hit it face on and was talking about how he needs to be better. But, sometimes, you got to realize that you're better coaching. And really, it's Tua's fault. Like, Tua shouldn't be bringing this up at this point. And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, what an awful take. Like, what a like, listen. That's even beyond a Skip Bayless level shit take from fucking Florio and Chris Sims. Like, however you feel about Brian Flores and his lawsuit against the NFL because of whatever shit that he was trying to say, but then seeing on top of this other shit and just kind of what an awful fucking person he is, and then you're still trying to suck his ass on it. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously when you say it. And again, that's just one of the many shit takes that Mike Florio has. But like seeing that today literally made me angry. Like watching it, I'm trying to just eat a nice breakfast, have my coffee. I turn on, NBC Sports there, and see him and good old fucking Chris Sims, and hear the just nonsense coming out of both their mouths. Had immediately turned it off. I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to watch the fucking Today Show? Fuck. What am I going to do? It was terrible. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but like Brian Flores isn't a head coach right now, and there's a reason why. The fact that he's actually got a job back in the NFL is good for him. I'm glad that, he not blackballed. I'm glad that there's no collusion to keep him out of the league like everybody was trying to say there was for him or for Kaepernick or whoever.
Yeah, but I mean, he's coaching with what? I think the Vikings?
Yeah, he's with the Vikings.
I wonder how much they knew about this. Because, I mean, do you think they would hire a coach, not even just him, but a coach that would put their players down like this?
I don't think anybody knew about, because who knew about this until Tua said anything? Maybe in some circles, maybe some of the Dolphins players and people around Tua knew it, or some of the coaching staff that was on Miami there knew it. But again, none of that was made widely available or known by anybody until Tua's interview with the Le Batard show. This week. That was the first anybody heard about it. And that's why it's making such rounds. And now you're starting to see, initially there was the, holy shit, fucking Brian Flores, like, what the fuck are you doing? And now you're starting to see some of the pushback come from people being like, well, it's really not his fault. You got to be able to get tough coaching. That's just tough No. There's tough coaching. There's, hey, come on, get your head out of your ass and get into the game and shit like that. Like, there's that. And then there's, like you're saying, texting your quarterback the night before the game being like, don't fucking suck. We need, don't, if you blow this game, we're going to have fucking problem. What are you doing? Like, what is, that's not tough coaching. That's being a dick.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm trying to get the most out of my guys. That's, I'm a fuck with this guy. That's what that is. That's not anything else. And I'm not somebody who's, I'm no namby-pamby motherfucker here. I'm not sitting there being like, oh, you got to baby these guys and do all this kind of shit. I'm not one of those people who's going to sit there and say that. But on the other hand, you can't be a dick.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to be, like, that's what I mean. There have been dick coaches, but they still coach.
Yeah.
There's a coaching element to there. Like I said, there's yelling, or there's, a little bit of cursing, and like, hey, get your head out of your ass, like that kind of thing. Or, hey, do any of that shit. Or just throw the fucking ball when I tell you to throw the ball. Run the play I'm telling you to play. Or do things like that. You see that and you hear that and you understand that. But that's not going to your quarterback and being like, you fucking suck. Like, that's not tough coaching. That's just, you're an asshole. That's all that is. You're not a tough coach. You're a dick. That's all.
Yeah.
So
and we see how that turned out in Miami with
I'm just going to say, Mike McDaniels has been the guy to get the most out of Tua, and now Tua's got the money, baby.
He's rich, bitch.
And he's their franchise quarterback. To the point, remember, they were trying to get rid of, when Flores was still there, they were trying to get rid of him. They were bringing Brady on the yacht. They were trying to get Brady down there instead of Tampa. They were trying to do all this other shit because, we can't have Tua. We can't have Tua. Tua's not the guy. Tua's not the guy. Apparently, Tua's the guy.
Yeah.
So, it just, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping the same thing happens with Daniel Jones. I'm hoping Daniel Jones is the guy. I'm hoping he rolls in the money soon, and everybody else can just be mad about it. But we'll see. Real quick, before we get the fuck out of here, Jimbo, week 0 this week, the big game of the week, really the only big one. I know Hawaii's playing Delaware State, who missed their flight to Hawaii, by the way. So who knows if that's actually going to happen. But the big game is over in Ireland. Florida State Seminoles versus the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Rambling Rick from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer, and I drink my whiskey clear. Listen, whenever you mention drinking in your fight song, I'm all for it. So, games is what is it? I think it's noon over here on the East Coast, so it'll be about 5 o'clock there, Dublin time. Predictions, who you got?
I'm going Florida State. Um, the kid that I believe he broke his leg, the quarterback that broke his leg last year.
He's with the he got drafted.
He got drafted. Okay.
I think the Jets drafted him.
Either way, I mean, I'm still going with Florida State. They're still a good team. Georgia Tech, they never seem like they're like a top 25 school. They could make exciting games or they get blown out. So that's fine. Now, I know you say you don't watch Raw, and I'm not sure if you saw this, but Sheamus is actually going to be on.
Yeah, he's going to be the guest picker. I did see that.
Yeah. So
we need somebody Irish. McAfee, you know somebody Irish? Yeah. Bring him over. Yeah, because right now Florida State is favored by 10.5 over Georgia Tech there. Florida State at minus 465. Georgia Tech at a plus 350. Over-under is 55.5 points. Florida State's ranked 10. I know they were undefeated last year, quote unquote. And then got manhandled in their bowl game, the Orange Bowl. I'm gonna say, like, I think Florida. I'll say this outright. I think Florida State wins, but 10.5 is a big spread for a Florida State team that we don't know a lot about.
yeah.
Me personally, anyway, I'm sure somebody out there knows, somebody who digs into college football might know that. And the bookmakers know a lot more than me, and so they've set the spread for what it is. And Georgia Tech is Georgia Tech. I mean, they're not that great either. I would like to take Georgia Tech with the 10.5. You know, getting 10.5, that wouldn't be bad, but I don't, you know, part of me's afraid. Like you get a little skittish because it is Georgia Tech and it is Florida State.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the name Florida State that you're more worried about because you don't know what, like, I don't know. Fuck it. I'll go Florida State. Give it a 10.5. I think it'll be over. You think you're going to go over or under? 55.5.
Florida State's, I mean, obviously well known to put up points. So, I mean, all they really need to do is 35, 40 points, and Georgia Tech will put some points up. I think it does go over.
I was going to say, it's hard. Like, you know, I don't know. Does the travel hurt them? Does that, you know, are they a little slower because of that?
You got to assume they've been over there all week to get that.
That might not help.
out.
They're all hitting the fucking pubs and the Guinness and, enjoying some of the fine red-headed Irish culture, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Now, here's a game for you. And I saw this stat brought up on McAfee Show. I know at this point we just fucking watch McAfee Show for our fucking show prep. We got to change. I got to change that. That's me. That's my fault, too. But I did see this. And that game I was mentioning before, Hawaii and Delaware State. Where Delaware State missed their plane out to Hawaii, so they're still trying to find a way fucking out there. Hawaii is, I believe, 10-2 or 12-2 in their opening games over the last 14 years or so against the spread.
Okay.
As it were, so you have to go against the spread. The spread is currently Hawaii favored by 38.5. Oof. Against Delaware State. Now, again, Delaware State, I believe, is Division II. I don't even think they're championship subdivision. I think they're Division II. So, there's a chance. Like, does Hawaii keep that kind of roll going with their opening games against the spread? I don't know.
That's a lot of points.
That's a big point spread. That's a big point spread. That'd be pretty interesting. The other games that are around is SMU versus Nevada, and Montana State versus New Mexico. So not a ton here in week 0. I guess that's why it's week 0 because it's not a lot going on. But that Florida State Georgia Tech seems to be the big one that's coming out.
Week 0 is like an appetizer.
Yeah, it is.
You know, week 1 is the full course. Week 1 to week 12 is the full course meal.
And there's always that one the week 0 always has like the one somewhat like it's maybe not a big game, but it's at least two teams you fucking heard of.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all these other ones like Montana State and New Mexico and Delaware State and Hawaii, but there's always one like Florida State and Georgia Tech. I've heard them. That's ACC. I got all right, I got it. We'll go with it. So
Yeah.
I'm just interested. There's going to be football on again. College game day is going to be on, and there's going to be like the you're going to be able to fall back into some good old habits and traditions of the fall. It's just good to have that back.
And football on every weekend until late February.
Until mid-February.
So we're here.
We're here, man. Like I said, we've kind of made it. So and hey, listen, technically, and you know me, it's all about the technicalities. We've made our first prediction of the year.
Yeah.
Florida State, Georgia Tech made our first one. We both say Florida State. By the way, for entertainment purposes only, don't follow anything we say, or you will definitely be poor.
Definitely lose.
And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's all I got for today. My mind is all kind of just fluttery. I'm sure that's probably come across during the show here. But thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe down there. That certainly helps us out. Donation station over there. Merch store over there. The links are down there as well. We have the Discord too. Linking on any of those, donating anything you can, buying any of our merch. All of that stuff helps us out. I just want to make sure we get that out of there. Jimbo?
And make sure you tune in Friday for our Friday forecast for NFC
South.
South. Okay.
It is the South.
I still got to do my...
No, wait. Is it South? Yes, it is South. Because we did...
Yeah.
We did West last week. South is this week. Next week is North. And then the last week before which is season week.
Yeah.
Which you said we might do a live show before that and kind of get everything out.
Yeah.
That'll be the NFC East, our division.
Yes.
And you're going to be real interested. You're going to be real interested in how that turned out.
So, until next time, it's your good friend Jimbo.
It's your boy King.
We're out.